Welcome to episode 34 of Speak Free with MattyG. I'm joined here today by a good mate of mine, Spares, local DJ and music producer from Penrith. So we're gonna welcome, first of all.
Thank you.
we're gonna be talking about your music today, and obviously the production side of things as well. We'll talk about obviously your social media presence, which you're big on, and sort of how you portray yourself, and sort of the image you want to create. And we'll also talk about your drive for success.
Perfect.
Which I think we both share. Definitely. Yeah.
Quickly, thank you for having me as well, Matt.
No, thank you for coming in, bro.
Yeah.
So this is second episode of 2023 in our new home.
Yeah. Shout out to 27 Project real quick. Studio's unreal.
Unreal.
Fully professional, really well done.
Yeah.
Unreal.
I know, I'm feeling like Joe Rogan.
That's
this bitch right now.
As soon as you walk in here, it's like that Joe Rogan effect.
Yeah.
Fully professional and stuff, which is cool. So.
Yeah, ready to rip in. Talk a little bit about where you got started with music. Obviously, there's a lot of people that love making music and that out there. So I think a lot of people can relate to you. Yeah. And if they don't like making music, they certainly like having a boogie.
At least listening to it. Yeah. Boogie. Yeah.
So how did you get started? What was it for you that sort of was that point in time in your life where you went, I want to make music?
Yeah. Well, looking back on it, like music's been definitely a big part of my life. Like always been around me. Played basketball when I was younger, so listening to music before games and stuff like that. But it really took off about 17, 18 when I started getting into the party scene. I started going to like parties and nightclubs and festivals even just seeing the DJs up there and like seeing the bands play and seeing like Chris Lake and all that play. It's like I watch these guys and I go, you know what? Like they're making this feeling of people dancing like all togetherness as one. And I was like, you know what? I really want to be a part of that. I want to make something that makes people feel, like makes them want to like boogie. Makes them want to boogie, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that really was a massive drive in it. So when I started seeing, I was like sussing the DJs, being like, just really watching how they act, how they do it, and like, you know what? These guys are actually pretty cool. I could do this. I could see myself doing this. I could see myself being the front man of the party scene, being that guy that creates that feeling that everybody wants to rock to. So that was a massive drive. And then about maybe 18, 19, when I started, like, I was like, you know what? I really this is going to be me. I want to try to start getting into this. And then unfortunately lockdown happened. So without lockdown, I don't think I'd be here right now with what I'm doing right now. But lockdown happened, and in lockdown, we were able to do anything we wanted. We had all the time in the world. We were in a house 24/7, so it was like literally, if you wanted to start a podcast, you wanted to start a second hobby or anything like that, you were able to. Lucky enough for me, my second hobby was music. So I first off started off DJing. So I bought, shout out to one of my mates. I'm not going to name drop anybody at the moment, but shout out to my mates. He knows exactly, if he's listening to this, he'll know exactly who I'm talking about, sorry. But yeah, he gave me his DJ decks, and I just started DJing here and there, just like mixing tracks, seeing how it goes and that. And then all of a sudden I was like, there's a whole aspect to music where you can make your own. You can create your own feeling for other people to listen to. Yeah. And I think that's really what I got in my head. That's what's going to separate me from the rest, is creating my own stuff and creating my own shit that's going to make people feel a different way. So I was like, you know what? How do I get to this avenue? How am I going to do this? How do I get there? So I found out Ableton on the laptop. I was like, you know what? This is the thing I got to use. Ableton, downloaded Ableton, bought myself a Mac laptop, started from there, started just creating little shitty beats here and there. But really that's the thought process behind how I got into it. It was just more so seeing people be the, I'm not sure what the word is, but be the front man for it. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is definitely where I want to go in life. So
yeah. And it's cool that you talked about, obviously, lockdown and that. We touched on that in the previous episode with Bomber, and how much creativity was built out of that. This podcast started during lockdown. Mainly because I was fed up with the fucking government.
At the same time, yeah.
And I was, I just wanted an outlet to be able to speak my thoughts and
speak free.
And speak free. And that's where it was built out of. But I think it was I think looking back, on COVID, it fucking sucked, and there's a lot of shit I do not agree with that happened. But I think one massive positive that came out of it was the growth of creativity.
Yeah, through everyone as well. Everyone definitely had some sort of chance to be like, you know what, I can do this, or
They
I
needed
want to
an
try
outlet,
this.
you know?
Massively,
Yeah.
and especially being trapped in such a scary time. It was a really scary time, not knowing what's happening, being locked inside and stuff. And everyone's like, you know what, I want to express myself a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
And he had the time to. I
Yeah.
had all the time in the world, you know.
And you look at, you know, there's been some big artists who've released music that was done in their home studios during
lockdown.
During lockdown, you know,
yeah.
like Beyonce released Renaissance, and that was all done with her and Jay-Z just at home, and like, you know, obviously at home for them is a fucking
$1 million studio, but hey,
16-bedroom fucking mansion, but it's still cool, like the fact that they weren't waiting for the world to open up again to
they just
keep
took
their
the
creativity.
opportunity.
You know, they didn't know what was happening, but they needed to create. And I think that's what shows what a real artist is that someone who's not doing it because they want to go on tour and make $1 million, or because they want to fucking, you know, yes, that may be part of it, but I think when you're a real creative, you just need to create. You just need to keep creating.
Massively,
you know?
yeah, I agree, massively. And I think during that lockdown period was when I was thinking at the start, like, what do I want to get from this? Where do I want to go? How do I want to get there? What avenues do I want to take to do it? Because I really, at the start of this journey, I really thought deeply about how far can I get? Because I think that's always got to be the end goal. You always got to have the end goal of where do you want to get to? And I think the best part with that is you just got to dream big. You know, like my first thing was like Coachella. That's definitely like a dream, you know, like that's, if you're not striving to get to Coachella or be the biggest at that stage or that event, then I guess like there's no real reason. But at the same time, I'm enjoying the journey, you know, like every step of the way, I'm enjoying that part to get to the end goal, you know what I mean? If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I think, that's what's so beautiful about going on these creative journeys, is that when you can really appreciate the small things, those little steps that, you know, are big steps at the time, and you'll look back and probably be, you know, there's probably times where you think like 2 years ago, like, fuck, I can't believe I'm doing that.
Yeah, definitely.
Where you look back now and think, fuck, I'm doing something even bigger, and you know, and it keeps growing. And I think that's what's really cool, is when it's enjoying the process, you know.
Definitely.
And yeah, for me, like with this podcast, for instance, you know, looking back when I first did my first like studio, right? I was at Hawkesbury Radio, fucking studios in the second room. Shout out Hawkesbury Radio, by
definitely
the way.
shout.
You know, they hooked me up. They
Hawkesbury.
gave me a start, and I always appreciate that. You know, I didn't have to pay a cent. You know, they had a podcast, they had the mics
That's
there.
perfect, you know.
And it was a great place for me to start, and they were very accommodating. And but looking back at the time, I was like, fuck, this studio is hectic.
Yeah,
you know?
and then now look at
where we're at, you know.
But I think that's also the best part about the journey, is literally looking back and then comparing it to where you are now. And it's like, you just got to pat yourself on the back, you know, because the places that you go, if you keep putting one step in front of the other and keep doing the little things and just ticking off the little things right, you'll eventually get to a point in your life where you're like, I'm way better than what I was back there, you know? So I think, and it's definitely shown in myself, in my music, in that I've only been producing my own stuff for about a year and a half, not serious, like every now and then jumping on and just doing a couple things here and there. Only the last couple, maybe 6 months, I've started taking it really serious. But yeah, just even from, I opened up one of my first tracks I made, maybe even this time last year, and I listened to it and I was like, this is dog shit, you know, like I was listening to this is dog shit. And then lucky enough, I was in the studio last night. Shout out to Bodega Studios. I was there last night with them. But even just when I was there creating the stuff there, I felt like I was just on a whole nother level, you know, like compared to that song there and then what I made in like 30 minutes. Insane. Like just the progress was insane. And it's the best part is like I really know, like I keep saying to myself, it only gets better. You know, like you're only just going to keep getting better if you keep learning and just keep ticking off little goals and that, ticking off little things. So it's definitely cool. It's cool looking back on things and cherishing it and looking at it and looking where the lessons is in it. If you didn't succeed in that part, how are you going to learn from that part? You know, never, I always say this to a lot of people, you never take an L in your life. The only L you take is a lesson. You know, whether it be you lose a game, what was the lesson in that game? How do you get better for the next game?
Yeah.
If you got denied a job, what things can you get better at to get that job? You know, you can apply that. Never take an L to anything in life. You know.
Yeah.
So
100% agree. How long was it for you when you sort of decided, you want to do this and you want to DJ and you want to produce music? How long until you started playing in places?
Yeah, so that was the trick. So I always knew DJing, you got to be like you got to be a presence. You got to do it all the time. You got to be that guy. You got to go put yourself out there in situations. So when I first started, I was more so focusing on just getting a little bit of a name, like just showing people I can mix, I can put out, like I know my stuff practically is what I'm trying to like get out. I did a couple of mixtapes, like what was my first one called? Like a 3-peat mix, I called it, and I just put that out on SoundCloud. Got a little bit of traction. Like people were like, oh, this is cool. Like, so from there, confidence grew. And then I was like, you know what? I've got to start learning to DJ live, and like I got to start performing in front of people. So that was the whole next step. Unfortunately, when you start out, the DJ decks you use are totally different, like completely different to the ones they use in nightclubs and stuff like that. That's the other thing people don't know. When you start out DJing on the little ones that connect to the laptop, it's like you get to that and then you go to the club and it's like, oh my goodness, like it's a whole step up.
Yeah.
And I think I experienced that massively. My first set, so yeah, my first time I was lucky enough, Bomb was the guy that was headlining, Kemi Arnold, which is pretty cool. I asked him, I was like, hey mate, any chance I can DJ? And he goes, yeah, you can open and stuff. So in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Like my first opportunity to DJ, I'm going to a Sydney nightclub, Colt out in Sydney. And I'm like, oh, this is like going to be unreal. Telling everybody, booked the hotel, did all this, did all that. And then slowly just building the anticipation up in my head. I'm like, oh, this is going to be massive. Got hundreds of people, like going to be the biggest event of my life almost. Mixed the scene, pre-mixed. This is most DJs are going to hate me for this, but I pre-mixed my set because I didn't know how to use the decks. This is my first time ever DJing. I didn't have any DJ decks to practice on. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to think outside the box here. Bang, pre-mixed it, made the set. Got to the nightclub. I was the first guy, so I'm the opening. And as a first-time DJ, I had no clue. So the opening guy, you're supposed to set the tone. You're just supposed to cruisy, like let people come in, cruisy. Oh, who's this guy playing? Oh, yeah, he's got some cool tunes and that. Little did I know, I was like, oh, this is going to be the biggest set. I'm playing a full headliner set. I planned a full headliner set, biggest songs, big tracks. Start playing. All of a sudden, they're not letting people in. I was like, oh my goodness, like, what am I going to do? Like, there's no one here playing. I'm playing in front of 0 people, like literally 0 people. Slowly, one person comes in, next person here and there. Playing for I only had like a maybe 45-minute set. Played for about half an hour to nobody. And like, I'm like, oh, like, I don't know what to do here, like no one's here. And little did I know, that's okay, like that's how it's meant to be as the opener. So yeah. Kept playing, and then slowly all the people came in, and then lucky enough, like my brothers and like my cousin that got to come in and see me perform, but they only got to see the last 3 songs. But with that story is the expectation and the thought process and the assumption that is going to be the biggest thing. I was like, nah, I've got to take it as it is. That's what I learned from that one. You can't put in your head that it's going to be, you can't put scenarios in your head, you just got to embrace it as it is. When you get there, you embrace it. So now from every set that I've done now is I've just embraced it. I've never thought about it. I just get there, do it, rock the stage and then hop off and on to the next. So definitely that first time was massive for me.
That is cool hearing that, because when I first met you I guess we met. We didn't really talk. You were just playing.
Yeah, I was playing.
At the Richmond Inn in the Hawkesbury, and I remember I was pretty fucked up on Dexies, to be honest, at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
But I was watching you and I was just like,
even that.
I was like, this cunt's fucking hectic. You're just like, there was fuck all people there in the whole pub. It was just a very quiet night, and but you were just having the best time, and I thought, fuck, that's mad, because. Just seeing you play, and you could just tell straight away that you were playing because you enjoy playing. You weren't playing because of the people. Yeah, that's cool. That's fucking awesome when people are there and they're fucking, and you've got a packed dance floor. But you've also got to enjoy just doing it as well.
1,000%.
If 10 people watch this podcast episode, I'm still going to have just as much enjoyment out of it as if 10 million.
100%. That's it. And I think and this is what I'm learning.
Have more money if 10 million people watched it.
I'll take the 10 million, but that's all right. But that's what I'm learning as well is the whole, when you're doing it and like there's 10 people in front of you, you have to be the best for that 10 people, no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter, if there's one person there, you have to be the best for that one person. And lucky enough for you, like that night, I was the free drink cards, man. Shout out to Ricky, and they're unreal. They give those free drink cards, which are unreal. It's I don't know. It's you just gotta give off the energy. You gotta continue to give off energy that's people are gonna vibe to. Like, you know, if you're gonna be the front man, if you're gonna be the head man, you have to be the vibe. People have to look at you and go, "Oh, this motherfucker's having the time of his life. I'm gonna rock with him till the end." You know, and I think that's the biggest presence I've always tried to give off is smiling. I think that's the number one thing that gives off that energy is smiling. When I'm behind the decks, I don't know if you've seen, but I hope I'm always smiling.
100%. I was going to say you're the happiest DJ I've ever seen.
Yeah, like just cruising, like, and I love it, and I love seeing the one person in the crowd that's just putting their hand up, like rocking with it. And as soon as I see that person, it's like I know I'm doing my job. You know what I mean? I know one person's enjoying it, and that's all I need. Yeah. And the best part is after every single set I've ever done, I've always had one person come up to me and say, "That was a really good set, like really good mixing, really good this, really good that." I was like, you know what? Pat on the back for me, you know? And I think that's the biggest W is always taking those one person. That's just one more fan. Every single time it's just one more fan. But I'm enjoying the process, you know? I'm enjoying every from last year, from the first set I did to the last set I did in the year. I did 5, maybe six sets in the year. The first set to nobody, the last set to having like 200, 300 people at a Halloween secret warehouse. Like, I was just like, I'm so proud of myself, you know, like just that little W. And I was like, in a year's time, I did all that.
Yeah.
Insane. Yeah. Honestly, insane.
No, it's very cool. And it's cool to hear that you are, you know, self-congratulatory because I am as well. And I think it's very important to celebrate those little wins. And I think it keeps everything chugging along, you know what I mean? And it's, you don't think never get in the mindset of, fuck, yeah, this is as good as it's going to get.
No.
But celebrate it and like, yes, you've worked hard and you've fucking achieved that and then on to the next.
Definitely. I think also it's a very cool thing to take in the W and like you can sit on it, rest on it. Like let's say I just did that Ricky In set last Friday. Don't need to do another set for the next 3 weeks. You know, I've done one set unless I'm money hungry and need that stuff. I don't need to do another set. You know, I can take my time. I've done what I needed to do for that little bit. I can take a little break time, you know, but at the same time, you've also got to keep doing little things in that break, in those little times that keep you on top of the ball
and keep it moving.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you? I sort of want to talk about your social media presence, and is image something that's really important to you?
Massively. I think I actually had this conversation with my mate the other day. I was like, because I said to him, I asked him, I go, is it funny you watching me post the things I post on Instagram and then seeing how I act in real life? And he's like, oh. Yeah, kind of is a little bit, you know, like because it's like it's two different things. I've looked at it this way: Spares is my persona and character. I've looked at it like it's got to be I am Spares, you know. Like Sam is like another character, you know. I've got two characters to be Sam Perez and then Spares. So definitely being on the Instagram and stuff, you know, like I watch. Prime example, I'm a massive Kanye West fan. And I think
shout out Kanye.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Big shout out Kanye. He's going through some shit at the moment, but shout out Kanye.
Yeah, that's all right.
But just having it's like a presence, you know. It's a story. I think I view my Instagram as a story. I view how I put my stuff out as a story. Every day when I post something on my story, it's how I'm feeling. It's how I'm expressing myself, you know. I think stories on Instagram are a good way to express yourself, a good way to go, this is what's happening at this time of the day, you know. I look at Be Real and all this stuff and I go like, that's just capturing what's in that moment, whereas Instagram's expressing what you're feeling and how you can feel it. I think I've been trying to make my Instagram a little bit like of a connection in a way, you know, so people can like, oh, what's Spares up to? What's this guy posting? You know, what's he saying now? Like, and as much as like the hate and all that stuff, or he's being a real weirdo and stuff, it doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter because I know people are paying attention. I know people are looking at my profile. I know people are sometimes listening to my stories and that. And that's all that matters, you know. It's just hooking them in, making sure they're like constantly checking, constantly up to date with what I'm doing. Because I look at who's Kanye West Instagram. post stuff, deletes it, brings it back, post stuff, deletes it, brings it back, you know. And I think that's the cool part of it. It keeps people engaged, you know. And as I go along this journey and I look back on it and I pulled all, because I only archive all my posts. This is a little secret. I archive all my posts, and then one day I'll bring it all back so we can look at it.
I thought you did, because I saw that like things. I went on there one and there was like one post. I'm like, what the fuck? Where'd all this shit go? Yeah.
And I think like I look at Skepta, for instance. I said this to my other mate ages ago. I sent a screenshot of Skepta with 0 posts, blank screen, like everything. I was like, you know, he's in album mode. I could already tell. Next 3 weeks, posted an album. You know, so it's like these celebrities are actually doing stuff on their Instagram to like promote shit, to promote their albums, say, oh, I'm doing this, or I'm doing this now, or I'm about to do this now and stuff. So I think not Instagram, but just social media in general is a big presence. You need to have a big presence on social media, nowadays at least.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
100%. It's a massive marketing tool. And I think with you, it's what's cool about it is that you really take your time to... like you said, like, yeah, you're very yourself. Like when I met, you're very honest and you're very open. But when it comes to sort of your character, I guess, in a way of like your showmanship of Spares, because that is that's your stage name, right?
Of me, yeah.
You know, the same as where it's, you know, Lady Gaga versus Stephanie. You know what I mean? Like it's these people that, you know, it's almost like they've created a character for a movie that they play for life, you know?
And I think that funny you say that, because I do view, like, as much as cliche as it is, I do view my life as a movie in a way, you know? Like I do see it, have cool things happen in my life that I'm like, fuck, this could be in a movie. Like, this is a movie scene right now happening, you know? So, but real quick on that Spares thing, it's not Sparez. It's not Spares, it's Spares, all right? It's, how do you spell spare? S-P-A-R-E. Just add an S to it, Spares.
Yeah.
People get it twisted so easy, man, like Spares. Even my last name, it's Perez, all right? Not Parez, it's Perez, all right?
And that's how you came up with the name, right?
Yeah, well, literally, yeah. Literally, funny that S and then Perez. I was like, oh, Spares, hey, Spares, you know? And it's not DJ Spares. Like I'm a DJ, but it's not DJ Spares, you know. Like Lude, for example, you don't say DJ Lude or DJ Flume. You say Flume or Lude. So it's just Spares, general.
And God, now I'm thinking, did I introduce you as DJ Spares?
Nah, Spares, which is good, perfect. It was perfect. But even like I was thinking, I'm not sure, like still tossing and turning. Is it That Boy Spares or just Spares? You know, so I'm still that's in the making.
But I think having your socials is like That Boy Spares. Yeah, that's
cool. Another separate story to it as well.
Like mine's This Is MattyG.
Perfect.
Anyone wants to follow?
Quickly pop it up on the thing. But I definitely think as we get older, as we get into like later on in life and stuff, social media and being online and that, it's just only gets bigger, which sucks. I hate saying it. Because I really am against social media. Like it's ruined the whole society. It's just ruined how we are as humans at the moment. But it's also a lot of benefits. Like, don't get me wrong, a lot of benefits.
Yeah, and it's a necessity. It's like an evil necessity. You know what I mean?
Like, oh man, scrolling on Instagram and TikTok, fuck.
Yeah,
man, it's just like
I try not to get too carried away now. You know, I had a few people say to me like, "Fuck you!" Like you hardly like my posts and shit.
Yeah, it's like
I'm like I don't actually scroll that much. I go on there to post, and then I'll have a little look and stuff. It's not like I'm not on. I use social media to talk with people.
That's other things. Well, oh man, like Facebook. I finally deleted the Facebook app because I think it's absolutely rubbish. You know, like I only use it on my laptop just to like minimize the usage of it. But Messenger, I have to have Facebook Messenger. You know, I tried deleting Facebook Messenger, but half my people I talk to are on Facebook Messenger. You know, so it's like, oh, I need this. You know.
Yeah.
But also like the other thing as well I have on Instagram is the whole everything I post is for a reason. You know, like everything I say on that is for a reason. Like people are like, oh, why'd you just say this or what you posted? Nah, man, I thought that through. You know, like I posted something 3 weeks ago that meant for something 4 weeks ahead. You know, like I'm always thinking ahead of the game. I'm always in that moment thinking, what's this caption going to put in people's minds for later on? You know, like, so I'm kind of.
But I think even the Instagram notes thing now.
Even that as well.
Like, I think when I said, can you come in this date and that, I think you put a mic.
Yeah, straight off the bat.
I'm like, that's mad. See, no one would even know.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's it's keeping that little bit of a presence, you know.
Yeah.
Like people are just like,
And a bit of
what the
mystery.
fuck's this? You know?
Bit of
Yeah,
mystery behind it.
I think that's mystery is a good drawer for people.
Yeah.
You know, people get
And I
attracted
think
to that.
and I think for someone who's a creative, I'm not saying everyone needs Instagram, but I think if you're a creative, I think it's 100% necessary. If you're a business owner, it's 100% necessary.
I mean, like, not like for instance, all the I see all the tradies making Instagram pages. Like, who are you attracting on Instagram that's gonna want to get your business? You know, that's what you got to look at. It's like, what target on Instagram are you attracting? Like, if you're a landscaper, like the people that need landscaping going to be Instagram? No, not really. It's more the old people on Facebook, you know. So make a Facebook page instead. It's more. There's tactics to it, you know.
Yeah.
And as soon as you wrap your head around that stuff and the marketing and all that shit, I think the sky's the limit for people, you know, for businesses 100%. And stuff like that.
It's promotion. Self promotion is 100% one of the most important things you can do.
I haven't experienced that with my music yet. The promotion side of things, I heard that's just a whole nother. Because the worst part about this music thing is there's no blueprint. There's absolutely no formula for this. You know, when I first dived into this music thing, I was like, asking people, any advice? What's this? What's that? Like, how do you do this? How do you get that? Man, there's nothing. Like, you can search up as much as you want. If you don't have somebody like physically telling you, this is like, do this and try to get this way, or try to get this way, or do this so you can get into this way. You got to figure it out yourself. You have to figure every step out for yourself. And I really use this for example because I played basketball my whole life. So I've been a basketballer since like 12. Been through the representing programs and all that stuff, won championships, all that stuff. But I view my music career as my basketball career. Basketball, you train every day, you get better, you try to make this rep team, you try to make the New South Wales team, Australia, NBL, NBA, you know. Whereas music, it's like, make music every day, put song out, nothing's attracting, make music, put song out, DJ, you know. It's like, there's no formula to it. There's no representative team to make. There's no bloody Australian team or anything like that. It's just, you just keep going and figuring it out, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool part of it as well. It's more of a challenge, you know, like,
definitely is. And it's a lot more, you know, I think networking is a massive
bro.
part.
I'm learning that slowly. Like, and networking is massive.
And I've talked about that on this podcast a fair bit with, you know, everything. You know, I'm a photographer and I have my own business, and it's all about network. Every event I'm at shooting, I'm handing out fucking 50 business cards.
Well, that's the funniest thing was after that Australia Day thing.
That's right. I gave you one straight away.
Straight off the bat, man. And like, shout out to my dad real quick. He's the one that he says it. So get a business card. You need a business card. Like, it's just easy, you know.
Yeah.
Bang, straight, here you go. Social media's on there. You got cool little email, phone, cool little like photo or something like that.
And the thing is, you're in their, you know, they may not need a photographer, they may not need a DJ for fucking 6, 12 months, 18 months.
But they got it still.
But when they do,
you've got it.
You're in their mind.
100%. Man.
You're in their mind.
100%.
And they may not choose you. That's cool. They may go on Google and see someone else. But at least you're in their mind. At least you're in the thought process. And the more people you get in that thought process for, the more people you fucking give that business card to, that they have that there, the more likelihood you're going to fucking, you know, like, for instance, Ricky Inn, I did a shoot there probably 3 weeks ago now, right? Saturday night, they're running a little DJ event there. So I did a shoot there, and then, you know, a friend was having a 30th birthday party, and you know, Ryan Cusack. He's played at the Ricky a fair bit. Anyway, but him and his missus, they're like a day apart, their birthday, so they're having a joint 30th.
True. Yeah, okay.
So they hit me up and they're like, "Yeah, can we get you for like 5 to 6 hours?" I'm like, "Fucking done."
Say less.
So it's like, you know, and then I've got, you know, that job from there, and then from there I'll probably get two more jobs.
And because that's the best part, man. Like, as soon as there's like 50 people there. Let's say you give your card to 30. 1 out of 30, it's all you need.
Yeah,
1 out of 30. You know,
and 1 out of 30 is pretty good for a photography job. You know?
That's freaking unreal. You know, and onto the net, like when you go to that party, it's like next 30, you know. And I think when you look at it strategically that way, I think it's beneficial, man. Like, people are gonna recognize you, people are gonna like get attraction to you, especially if you're doing good. Like, if you're taking the worst photos and the shittest photos, oh man, I'm not getting this guy. Hell no.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, if you're good with it, well, fuck,
that's
man.
what I always say. You got to have the personality, but you got to have the talent to back up the
Definitely.
personality.
I think that's a massive thing. Like, I like my first set, I was like, fuck, is this really for me? You know, and I was like, fuck, like, I don't know what to do here. Like, I don't know if I should keep going or just like just like stay low key with it, put out a couple more mixes. I was like, nah, fuck it. You know, like first ever time, I'm just going to keep going better. And then my second set, unreal, man. Like the feedback from that second set was nuts. Like everyone was saying mixing was good, songs were cracker and that. So that was like confidence boost. Like, yeah, this is what I want to do. 100%.
Yeah. And you do have moments of self-doubt and you have moments of
every day, man.
Do you ever get imposter syndrome? Like, you know, I got that when I first started photography pretty bad. I didn't really have it with podcasting much. I'm born to do this shit.
Just born to talk. Just born to talk. 100%.
I'm born to talk, man.
Me and you both.
And like, and yeah, I've had it with podcasting in the sense of like, sort of not getting the traction that I wanted or that I sort of stupidly expected, but I also wasn't leveling up myself enough. And now that I am, I'm like, no, it's all coming together for me.
Yeah, 100%.
And but with photography, 100% had like I was doing photography at like my local pub and stuff that I was working at the time. I was doing photography for them, did a couple other things, and then I got a full-time photographer job at where I'm still at now, Tana Motors, shout out.
I love giving the shout outs, man. They're unreal. Yeah.
But the first few weeks I was thinking, fuck, mate, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, it's like,
and it was just learning their process and that, and you know, and I think why I'm so glad I got that job, and it really taught me that even if you're, you know, in sort of out of your depths, if you just put in that work and you take the time, a lot of people quit when it gets hard.
That's the worst part. That's when you keep going.
That's when you keep going. That's when you grow, man. That's when you grow. And for me, I'm so glad. If I didn't get that job, I would have never started my own business. And I fucking love photography. That's why I got cameras there.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah. Shout out Nick for lending me those cameras for props.
But the best part is when you find that passion, and I think when you were doing it, you found it, you know, and you're like, fuck yeah, this is cool. You know, I feel at kind of one, not at one, but I feel this is a part of me, you know, and I want to do this. And I think that's the thing is finding that niche, that passion that people have inside themselves and inside with them, you know. And I think once you do find them, once you are able to express yourself that way, man, sky's the limit. Like, really is. And it's really hard, but I think that's the hardest bit, is finding that niche, is finding that passion for something. A lot of people struggle in that. Is like, what am I good at? You know? I think,
and I think a lot of people get bogged down in, I guess, sort of the day-to-day bullshit of life.
Oh man, yeah.
They're in a job they hate, but they don't want to leave because it's too hard to leave, and they get stuck in that. My advice to everyone out there that's listening right now is, if you want to do something, if you have even a fucking second of a thought that you want to do something or that you don't like what you're currently doing, make the change, go out and just fucking do it. If it doesn't work out, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, honestly.
You tried. Like,
100%.
That's why I would never take advice or criticism from someone who's never tried.
Yeah, like
never ever.
I've seen this TikTok. A$AP Rocky said, "When has it become such a bad thing to try?"
Yeah,
like, man, it's like, and he said that. I was like,
and that's the thing. Anyone who ridicules someone for going out there and just trying something, even if they fucking suck at it, they tried.
But at the same time, there's also a fair line between, like, I think a lot of people say, like, I agree 1000% would say, if you're struggling, if you want to try something, want to do it, fucking do it. Just fucking do it. But at the same time, if you're doubting yourself so much that you don't end up doing it, it's not for you. You know, it's plain and simple. You know, like, you can say, "Oh, I want to be in NBA. I want to be in NBA," but next minute you're just sitting in there playing NBA 2K, and you're not training or anything. It's like, bro, like, obviously you don't want to be in the NBA. You know, you can talk it all you want, but you don't want to get there. You don't want to do the hard work to it.
Yeah, personal drive has to be there as well.
I think that's anything. One of the big things. Yeah. Personal drive, you know, like, otherwise
you're just a dreamer, you know,
massively.
And
that's, I think, even with this music thing is it's the dreaming part is the motivation behind it, but it's like the work ethic and that. It's like, fuck, I gotta really, like, knuckle down here. If I want this dream to happen, I have to fucking put in work. I have to do this. I have to do this every day. I have to love this shit, you know, and I have to love the losses, and I have to love everything that comes along with it. All the fucking hate, all the fucking noise, all the fucking people talking shit, you know. You have to love it, and I do love that shit, you know. And I think it's so cool every time somebody's talking about me. Hate, love, bloody agreeing with me, disagreeing with me. I fucking love that shit, you know. I take it on board. Yeah, I get in my own mind a lot about it, and I dwell and I think about like the hate and stuff, but I take that in, I use it as motivation to go, fuck this motherfucker, you know.
Yeah.
I know this motherfucker's bopping his head when he's listening to my freaking mixtapes and that, you know. So I think it's a cool thing. It's a struggle. Some people are very not strong-minded and take the hate and go, oh, fuck, like this motherfucker, I'm not good.
Yeah.
Take the hate, bro, learn from it, use it, continue.
Yeah.
You know, and it's literally, this is the other thing I wanted to talk about as well, was the whole fucking social pressures of other people's opinions. Oh my goodness, man. Worrying about other people's opinions and not doing something because of other people's opinions is fucking ridiculous. Honestly, like we're in 2023. Who cares what people thinks? You know, we're like, okay, I get it. If you're in high school, yeah, fucking oath. Like, obviously you're going to care about what other people. If you see that person every day. But the moment you leave that high school gate, who gives a fuck? You know, you honestly you're not seeing anybody every single day. You have to make effort to see everybody. And I think that's the biggest thing that high school doesn't teach is as soon as you leave the gates, they don't teach you anything about like what it is after you leave the gates. You know what I mean? And I think learning from that these last couple of years and reflecting on my high school journey and reflecting on the man I've become coming out of high school and like growing outside of high school and stuff, man, it's just like nobody's opinion matters. It really doesn't. When you really dumb it down to the simplest form of that person thinks this shirt's ugly. Is he wearing a shirt? No, this motherfucker ain't wearing a shirt. Am I wearing a shirt? Do I like this shirt? Do I think this shirt is good? Do I think I look good? Fuck yeah, I'm going to wear it, you know, because of these motherfucker things, you know. I know he'd be still looking at me. I know he's still looking at that Tyler Creator and thinks, oh, that's a Tyler Creator shirt. Fuck, I know if it is, you know. So I think once you grow that attitude and once you get to that point in time, it's a level up. I feel leveled up compared to a lot of people, you know. I talk to my friends sometimes and I go, like, I listen to them. Don't get me wrong. I don't feel above them. I don't ever like compare myself and say I'm better than anybody or anything like that. But I definitely think biggerly and like differently to other people. You know, I listen to other people and the way to talk and I go, yeah, like I'm on the right path. I'm definitely like, I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy with what I'm doing and stuff like that. So I think that's definitely a big thing in this world is the social pressures of other people. You know, I think it just needs to be talked about more. It doesn't get talked about at all. I don't hear nobody saying it. You know, like coming out of high school, like all that shit about depression and all that. No, stop worrying about other people's opinions. That's what should be expressed, you know? And I think once that gets expressed, even through high school, people's lives will be so much better. I really think because they'll be worrying about themselves, they'll only care about themselves, you know? And I think once you get into that mindset, you can do anything. You can really do anything in this life. So I think that's a massive thing that people should take away.
Yeah, I agree. And I've definitely come to that more so. I'm probably at a stage now of more like self-love than I've been previously. And
self-love, man. I think that's a big one. That's a big one.
And I think like before I did get, not that I really gave a fuck. If I gave that many fucks about what people were saying or thinking about me, then I would have never started this podcast. But there's been moments where I've been probably like I had a good chat. Nick, who co-owns this studio, he came on the podcast. I remember there was I don't want to name names or anything. But there was a situation where I felt like a friend, well, it was made clear to me that a friend wasn't really supporting me, right?
Yeah, okay.
And his advice was like, you need to just get rid of those people, right? Like get rid of them. Anyone who, and you know what? And it's nothing against them. They don't have to support me, right? But they also don't need a space in my life then, you know, because once you get rid of the people, there'll always be people, but once you stop paying attention or giving your energy to the people who doubt you or
aren't rocking with you.
Or say,
don't rock with you.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, if they don't fuck with you, then don't fuck with them.
Yeah.
And you'll see your life change. You'll see how many things open up for you because you're no longer spending your energy on people who don't give a fuck or who want to try and bring you down to their level because they're not doing anything with their life. And instead, you want to be once you get rid of those people, you start, giving your energy to just yourself your craft,
in your own thing.
And to the people around you who do support you and that you support, and you want to see win, they want to see you win. And once you do that,
You only level up.
Things,
only level up,
level
man.
up.
And that's the best part. But it's a really hard thing to recognize. You know, like let's say you got like your group of mates all there, like, and one mate's just constantly fucking picking on you and just being that gronk. Like he's still your boy in that. Obviously, he's never going to like not be your boy. But it's like it's a really tough thing to recognize it and recognize that he's not adding anything to my life. You know, he's really not doing it. And it actually happened to me quite just recently. Actually, yeah, this mate, I was like, nah, this ain't. He's just not adding anything to my life. You know, I really just need to cut it out, you know, like just focus on me, do my own thing. And I did. And ever since then, like, bro, I've been like, some of the music I've been making is the best music I've been making. I've just been, at one with myself, you know, but at the same time, it takes a lot to get to where I am right now in my life. It took a really lot. Like I've been through so much in high school, so much, even after high school, not like as in terms of like bullying and all that shit. Like, I've lived the best life, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I've lived a really, really good life from the start of high school, from the start of birth, bro. I've lived a really good life, loving family, supportive family, able to do anything I've ever wanted, like basketball, travel with basketball, all throughout high school as well. Like, just I was around a crew that just like supported me, you know, like I never felt like I was out of it. I felt different. I always felt different. I've always been different and I've always thought differently. I've always acted differently, not in the terms of like I'm a full weirdo like in that way, but I feel like I'm special. I feel like I'm really special, you know, I'm unique. I'm Kanye West. I feel really unique, you know, in that type of sense. So yeah, and just, going through all the high school and stuff like that got me to the point where I am today, you know, like I had to experience everything. I had to learn everything that happened in my life to get to this point. One of the big things for me was I finally moved out of my house just before lockdown. This was literally the year before I started DJing, like, and started making music. I moved to Byron Bay, which was pretty cool, for about 6 months. Just 20 minutes outside of Byron Bay, Brunswick Heads. Okay, I went up there for 6 months, worked in a pub up there. And this is my first time living out of home, experiencing like just being by myself, you know, like I've always been with mum and dad, had 2 brothers, you know, so I've always had people around me, someone to talk to, someone to do something with, someone to be like somewhere with, you know. Finally moved out, and just from there, bro, I just realized like you can do anything, you can say anything, you can be anything, you can literally do anything without consequence, you know, like you can really find yourself. You don't find yourself till you are alone and experiencing those type of things. So being up in Byron was like really, really cool experience. You know, I learned a lot about myself. I partied a lot, definitely. Backpackers up there, whew, mamma mia. But just in general, man, like I think if you really want to, if you're struggling, like if you're really not struggling in terms of like, what do I want to do? Who do I want to be? Just go by yourself for like a day. Really, just go by yourself and just really think like. And with the intention of figuring out what you want to do or who you want to be, but I promise you'll figure out something from being by yourself and like with your own thoughts and that. I think that's a massive thing like people need to do, is just experience shit by themselves.
I 100% fucking huge on that. Hey, like for me, I'm a very social person. I'm an extrovert for sure.
Don't get me wrong. Like if you're an extrovert, bro, go out with everybody. Like, you know, like party all the time and that.
Well, that's the thing, and that's where people get it mixed up, is that they think like spending time by yourself makes you it doesn't make you an introvert.
No. Oh hell no.
You mean extrovert, but you don't need familiar fucking, you know what I'm trying to say.
I know, I get you. Yeah. But
familiarity.
It's
that's fucking hard to say.
Just that whole word, man. No way I'm getting that.
But you don't need the same sort of people around you all the time. You know, I've gone to many gigs by myself. I went and met Kid Leroy by myself. Met some fucking.
Shout out Kid Leroy as well, real man. Like, that man, he's taken over. I think he's the most, like, there's a lot of people that like, he's bloody American taking over. Like, no, man, this kid, you have no idea what this kid's doing. He's doing things that are unheard of.
You know what? And that's such a thing you just touched on there. That's such a massive problem in this country. Is that this tall poppy syndrome?
Oh, fuck me dead, man. He's Aussie, who cares?
Anyone who makes it, they go to America, they get a bit of an accent, they're not Aussie anymore.
Bro, that man's heart and soul of Aussie, you know? Like, he's Redfern, heart and soul type of shit. He's been through it, you know? But also, even seeing him, like, I think that's a massive inspiration, bro. Kid Leroy, like, I see him, how he is, and I went to Kid Leroy back-to-back nights, bro. It was... Went to him first, I was like, fuck, I gotta go again. He's unreal. Front center, you know, for him. Watching him perform, act, and like the way he is, bro, I was like, fuck, man, I could easily do this. You know,
You're probably right near me in that first.
I would have, bro. I wouldn't even noticed. To be honest, I would have looked around and like wouldn't even seen.
Because I had a meet and greet, which was really fucking cool.
What's he like?
Super nice. Super nice.
I think he's a bit of a weirdo, but like he has to be, because imagine having that many people know who you are and shit.
Oh, yeah.
At that age, and
everyone who is creative is a little bit mad.
Oh, bro,
there's a little bit of madness.
Insane, bro. yeah. But he's really like he's definitely an inspiration of mine, because he's like he's doing literally almost what I want to be doing. You know, that in that type of sense, performing in front of people, creating that feeling in that. So I think definitely a massive shout out to Kid Leroy, to be honest.
Yeah.
Massive shout out.
Yeah, if he wants to come on the podcast.
Yeah, say less. Come through. 2-7 project, baby.
Welcome anytime.
Yeah.
One thing I really wanted to talk to you about was, you touched on, partying and Byron and whatnot, but is that something, as a DJ, we've seen sort of the music industry as a whole, partying is a big part of the lifestyle, right? Does that ever concern you, or does that excite you?
Massively. Bro, concerning, exciting, daunting in a way.
Do you ever feel the need that when you're DJing you have to be on the piss, or that you?
Yeah, so the first couple performances, obviously going to be nervous. Like that's just if you don't care, if you don't get nervous, it means you don't care. That's how I look at it. So obviously the first couple, maybe the first four, I wouldn't say I was drunk. I wouldn't say I'm like to the point where I'm freaking loving it. And I would have like enough to the point where I'm like, yeah, I've got my line. I can function. I've got confidence, and I can still function properly. So I think definitely have to drink a little bit. Sorry, not have to drink, but I definitely like to have a little bit of a drink before it. Definitely sets the tone, creates the tone. Because if they're like people out there like drunk as in the crowd, obviously you want to be like a little bit tipsy with them, feel how they feel in a little bit, that type of sense. But the last, like I did one, my first ever house party, man, holy smacks. I got there around like 6 p.m, wasn't on until like 8, even 5 p.m, bro. In that 3 hours, I was just playing beer pong. Like I was winning as well. I was splashing and cashing, bro. But I got to the point where I was like, holy shit, Sam, like I was in my own head, like, fuck, you need to slow down, like you're getting a bit tipsy here and that. Kept going. And I got to the point where I started and I was just so sloppy. My mixes were shit. I wasn't on time. My song choice was bad. So I think there's definitely a fine line into learning when to draw a line with it, which is really cool. Actually, I did my first sober gig last week at Ricky Inn. Like I had 2 beers with it, like I wasn't drunk or anything, but yeah, like I went into it, I was like, I'm not drinking, I'm gonna drive there, I'm gonna be sober for it. Whereas all the other ones I went out, like had a couple of drinks and got a little bit drunk and stuff like that, just to get rid of the nerves. But definitely being on that party scene, it's a massive thing, and I think once it gets bigger, like once I'm like at EDC Las Vegas and shit like that, I think that's when it's like, fuck, man, like I need to be sensible, I think taking the edge off, maybe smoking a little bit of weed and that before a set, I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think that just sets you in the mood and that. But being like really slaughtered and that, I think it's not a good thing, I think it's not a good look as well when you're DJing, especially at like Ricky Inn at a pub, everyone's looking at you and stuff, you're the main guy, and you're sloppy in that, being all like mixing and bad and stuff, and people are going, it's like, nah, it's not a good look, So it's a massive thing. Party scene's massively for the DJs as well. Like I love going to house parties and everyone's like pissed as, and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I might have a couple of beers. Like I might have a couple of drinks. Just to set the tone a little bit. I don't think there's nothing wrong with it, but there's a fine line. You gotta be able to draw yourself. You gotta know yourself. You can go 5 beers, I'm fucking smashed. Or 3 beers, I'll be smashed. So it's like you gotta know yourself at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely like it. It's cool. Like being tipsy up there is mad.
Yeah,
a little bit of vibe in that. So
yeah, 100%. I've done, I used to be on the radio and I've been a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, what's it?
Fucked up for that.
Yeah, man. Like, is it like? I find it a bit easier in a way. I feel it takes off the edge. Like,
I got a bit carried away. See, I've got a fucking very addictive personality.
See, and this is where I'm learning. I got that as well. It's you gotta know yourself, bro. You gotta know, like, if you know you're gonna get fucking like really bad into something, it's like, no, I'll try to steer away from that as long as possible.
The big thing for me right now, because I've been, I went sober at the start of the year and I've done really fucking well. Haven't had drinks.
Yeah, congratulations, man. It's and I really give credit to shout out to my other mate real quick. He was telling me about how his brother, he rang him. I was with him and he just rang him out of the blue and was like, oh, I'm patting myself on the back. I'm maybe like 15 days sober of gambling. So again, I said to him, I said, you say to him and say, that is unbelievable. You know, you celebrate every single day of sobriety. Every single day. Every single day you're able to get off something you were addicted to, bro, you're the man. You know, you're honestly the man. It's such a addiction. Even addiction's not really spoken about much, you know. Getting out of addiction, getting away from shit, you know. It's such a hard thing sometimes for some people.
It's definitely hard. And, you know, I got wrapped up in, you know, and I would go and film a podcast literally with an hour's sleep. And looking back at it now, and at the time I thought, fuck yeah, I got through that, sweet. And I'm like, fuck, that was nowhere near as good as it could be. And now that I'm sober and like, it was fun at the time to be maybe fucked up for it or fucked up for the radio or whatever the fuck. Hopefully Hawkesbury Radio because I had no idea. But
like, it's cool. Like it's at that time of your life, it's like there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if you really as bad as it is.
I'm not anti. I mean, no way anti-drugs or anti-alcohol. I think majority of people can do it as an occasional thing, and it's fine.
Level,
For me, I couldn't. Right.
Yeah.
So for me, I get carried away, and it became a problem. And right now, I feel better than I've ever felt before,
and that's perfect. That is unbelievable.
I feel completely in control. Yeah. I feel like much more for a podcast, for instance. I'm much more in control of where the conversation goes. Rather than getting carried away, I keep it on task now. And, you know, it is speak free, and I don't mind getting a bit carried away on stories and that. But I need to know when to reel it back in too. And
that's the thing of the coke chat and the drunk chat. It's different chat. Man.
It's different chat. It's different chat. And people will look at that and think, fuck, that's mad. But you know what? It's not sustainable. It's
not, yeah. And I think it's really cool. Like you said it just before, like you identified that as a problem.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's really...
For me, it became not fun anymore. That was the big thing for me.
And that's the big... And as soon as it's not fun, as soon as it's taking the enjoyment out of it, you know, like...
It felt like a necessity rather than a
habit type
like
thing.
a pleasure.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. It wasn't a pleasure anymore.
Definitely. And I think that's the biggest thing is identifying that. And once you have identified that, it's like taking the steps to get out of that habit, you know? Yeah. And I think the hardest step is identifying it. You know, most people will be like, oh, I'm getting a bag every weekend, you know? Like, look at me, I'm on a bag every weekend. I'm getting a bag. Let's get a bag. And that's like, bro, like,
I know.
Just kick it a little bit. Like,
imagine being enslaved to a little $300 bag of cocaine.
That's what, like, it's...
I've been there. It's not good.
It's, don't get me wrong, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, bags are, like, cool and that. But at the same time, every weekend, bro, it's like... Relax. Just kick it a little bit. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Go to J and smoke a J instead, my bro. Much rather.
But yeah, there's no fun to it then. You know,
Definitely.
If it's an every weekend thing, there's no fun to it, and that's what it became for me with dexamphetamine and you know doing all that. It was readily available. It was cheap.
I'm very
cheapish.
See, like I'm very like I've been very good. I've been raised the right way. I think this is where the other thing as well is like if you're raised in a family where obviously like your dad's doing stuff and like you're seeing it every day and like having like he's drunk, like obviously you're gonna be like brought up with that stuff. But whereas I was really good, I was really aware of myself, situations, being able to judge situations, read situations, and be like, nah, I don't want to have a line now. Right? I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't want to have that. Right? Peer pressure as well, biggest thing, bro. Peer pressure on my days. People just pouring out shit and going, have this, bro. Like you're a bitch. And it's like, bro, I don't fucking want that. You know, I don't want that in my body at the moment. Like,
you know what? And that's another thing is that majority of people out there that are on the piss. I'm not saying it's a problem for everyone. But majority of people can party and be okay. Yeah. You know, 95% of people can take drugs occasionally,
and that's what,
and it's just an occasional thing for them, and they don't get carried away.
Just in case, it's like it's always that like just 1%, man. It's but just in case.
I'd tell you something. A lot of people out there are suppressing the real issue by going out and getting drunk, or going out and getting a bag, or going out and fucking getting on caps, or whatever the fuck it may be, whatever their vice is, or fucking sitting at home and watching 10 hours of TV in a row. Or, whatever it may be, you know, everyone has their thing. You know, I'm still addicted to vapes and that, but I was a smoker before, and trust me, the research is out there, guys. It's nowhere near as bad as smoking. So,
you don't reckon so?
Fuck no. Yeah. And I buy my shit from New Zealand. I've got a prescription.
So it's perfect. Yeah.
It's not a fucking disposable. You're not smoking battery acid.
That's all right. Like as long as you've found the way, like found a better alternative to smoking. Because I'm so against ciggies. Like they just chat. Don't get me wrong. I've had ciggies and like someone else.
Yeah, I used to smoke like 25 ciggies a day.
See, like that's...
I probably vape more nicotine now, to be honest.
But whereas 25 ciggies, you know, like compared to that, it's like, which one would you rather, you know? And it's like, some people just can't cold turkey. You can't just eliminate smoking. You know, like it's really hard to do that. If been a smoker, a massive smoker, it's just hard to stop smoking.
And I enjoy it, and it's not like it's changed. It doesn't get me
Vape,
fucked up.
Okay, vaping's pretty cool as well. Like suck on it, make little circles and that.
And yeah, for me, like I'll probably always vape the rest of my life, to be honest. And that's I'm okay with that.
And that's your decision, you know. At the end of the day,
it doesn't change. What I needed to change was things that were not enjoyable for me anymore. And that were holding me back, and that was drugs and alcohol, and I'm pretty proud of myself.
That's good, and as you should be, bro. Like it's everybody that's out there, anybody that's listening, and like that's done something that's beneficial to themselves. Bro, pat yourself on the back every single day, man. Because it's like if you ain't patting yourself on the back, you're never gonna keep going through it. You know, you're never gonna keep doing it and getting better. But it's a hard thing to do. You know, you got to make sure that you are wanting to get better for yourself, and if you do, well then, man, the sky's the limit for you. It really is. But it's also it's a really hard step. It's a really hard direction to take. You know, some people don't take that direction. Some people just continue to smoking, continue the fucking bags every weekend, you know, and that's okay. And that's definitely okay. Like that's your life at the end of the day. And that's what I'm learning is like, I can't save everybody. I can definitely try. And I've tried a lot of times and been failed for a lot of people, and it's backfired a lot. And I tried helping them, and like in situations where it's like, bro, just like nah, come over here. Like don't go on the right side. Go to the left side for a little bit. You know? But yeah, it's understanding that you can't save everyone, and it's you gotta understand that you can't freaking change the world. You know, you gotta do little steps the same way. You can give advice.
Exactly. My big thing is change yourself first.
Definitely.
Sort out your own issues before you try and sort out the issues.
And I hate people that are just like, oh, you're doing this, like change your life. It's like, bro, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me how to live my life. Like,
well,
I'm
exactly.
Here, like,
and that's one big thing. I'm not in any way preaching for everyone to go sober at all. I want to make that clear now.
Yeah. But
I'm just talking about my own personal experience.
At the same time, if you really are, like, if you feel like
I'm not saying don't do it either. Yeah. I'm just saying people can do whatever they want, live their life how they want. For me, this works for me, and it was a change I needed to make, and I'm proud of myself. I want to just finish up here, but I want you. You know, I'm going to end the podcast this way, and anyone listening, if they want to start, you know, producing music as well, and or whatever it may be, what they want to do, what would be your advice to them?
Yeah, that's a tough question.
Loaded question.
On the spot to end it like that. I don't know, especially nowadays, to see a lot of people wanting to be DJs and wanting to like get in that music stuff, even rappers and shit like that. Like, the biggest advice, I haven't even been doing it for that long.
But in terms of what your experience is.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I got you. I'm just trying to put the words together for it. The biggest advice I could give would definitely be really think it through. Really think about what you want to get from it, where you want to go, what direction you want to go with it, and understand that it's fucking long, man. Like, it's such a long journey. Like, the first year, like the first month I did it, I was thinking about the end goal, and I was thinking that's end goal's coming in next year, you know, like within the next couple of months. It's a long process, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy who you are. Love it. You know, like, love the process. Love the journey. Learn to love the L's. Learn to love the process, you know. And I think if you're just doing that, bro, like, it's not, like, you're not going to fail, you know. If you're really having fun and continuing to do it every day and just doing little bits at a time, learning, massively learn. Keep fucking learning. You have to learn ins and out of everything, you know, mixing, mastering, creating, promos, DJing, fucking performing live, you know, connecting the DJ decks to speakers, something so simple like that. You know, you got to learn as you go, and you only do it through experience. So the best advice I give is keep learning and literally enjoy the process. Enjoy every single step of it, because if you ain't enjoying the process, don't fucking do it at the end of the day. But other than that, thank you for having me, mate. Honestly, it's been
thank
unreal.
you for coming in.
Shout out 27 Projects as well. This studio is unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Even the space, the creative space in there as well. They're doing unreal. Western Sydney, man, is really getting put on the maps lately, and I'm really proud to be from Western Sydney and be a Penrith boy and say I'm a Penrith boy everywhere I go. So definitely, even what you're doing, bro, speak free. You know, it's a platform to speak free. Literally, 100%. That's all it is, and I appreciate you having me on here. To whoever's listening as well, just literally do whatever you want. Do what you want, when you want, how you want, and why you want. That's all I got to say. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for coming in.
No, thank you.
And remember, guys, speak free with MattyG.